You're listening to Newshour, recorded at 20 hours GMT on the 7th of August. This is Owen Bennett-Jones, and coming up, another Bangladeshi blogger killed for writing like this.
How come countries like Sri Lanka and Australia that don't pray still perform so well? And what if both sides begin play by appealing to Allah? Which team will God support?
Watch World Service. This is Owen Bennett-Jones with Newshour. Just last month, following the hacking to death of 3 secular bloggers in Bangladesh in February, March and May, the BBC asked Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina whether the government was capable of controlling the situation.
Yes, 1 or 2 or 3 incidents may take place, but immediately we have taken steps, we arrested them, we will not allow any terrorist activities to take place in this country. We will not allow it. We have to control it, and we are doing it.
So how come there's been a 4th case? Niloy Neal, hacked to death in his flat in Dhaka. According to a local paper, the local branch of Al-Qaeda, Ansar al-Islam, claimed it. Niloy Neal's widow is Asha Moni.
There is no justice in this country. There will not be any justice in this country. There will be no justice. The Islamists will get stronger and stronger. The government will not take any step against them. We will have the right to live in this country. They cannot take a life like this.
And why did they take a life like this? Because they disagreed with him. Here's a passage from his website on the question of whether the game of cricket is forbidden under Islam or not. He wrote it in response to a suggestion from a prominent Bangladeshi musician that cricket players should begin matches with a prayer.
I understand that he's emphasising prayer, and he's encouraging other cricketers to follow the example of the Pakistan team and pray together on the pitch. But this raises some questions. How come countries like Sri Lanka, India and Australia that don't pray still perform so well? And what if both sides begin play by appealing to Allah? Which team will God support? I also wonder why so many Muslim clerics have become such huge fans of cricket lately. They didn't even understand the game 20 years ago. One prominent Islamic scholar even called it a waste of time. The clerics have given a number of reasons for their disapproval of cricket. For example, people miss prayers while playing or watching the game. There's betting involved. Women are allowed to play, and men and women celebrate together. We know that many Muslims consider chess as haram or un-Islamic, even though it's considered a noble game. So if cricket had been in existence at the time of Prophet Muhammad, I think there's no way it would have been halal or permitted.
A blog written by the murdered man. Well, Akbar Hussain is our correspondent in Dhaka. What were the circumstances of his death?
The blogger Niloy Neal, he was hacked to death in his residence in Dhaka on Friday at 1 p.m. And a group of people, 4 to 5, they came to his house, they knocked at the door and they were asking for house rent. And when he opened the door, the group of people, they attacked him with sharp weapons. They started hacking him, they confirmed his death, and they left the house without facing any challenge from anyone.
Then there was a list of these bloggers, wasn't there, which had been put out by the jihadists. So was his name on the list?
His wife told me that his name was on the list.
Right, but I mean, the reason I'm asking about the list is that if his name was on a list, you'd expect him to have police protection.
He was asking for police protection because his wife told me that he went to a local police station and asked for police help and said that few people are following him when he was coming out of home and going his office. But police didn't take it very seriously. It was a fault on the part of police, what his wife told me, that they're not taking the matter so seriously.
I think it's fair to say that in the West, these killings, successive killings, are causing real shock. But in Bangladesh, there don't seem to be any mass protests. People don't seem to be that upset by what's happening. Is that right?
Partly this is true. Our politics is divided secular and non-secular views. And people living in the urban areas, urban educated class people, they are very vocal against this sort of killing. They are very vocal in favor of freedom of speech. But people in the rural area who are living, because Bangladesh is a Muslim majority country, they are not showing that much sympathy to those incidents. There are people in Bangladesh who believe that freedom of expression, freedom of opinion, it shouldn't stretch up to criticizing religion. That is the matter. But in a sense, everybody is saying that whatever the opinion is, whoever the people are, killers must be punished. That is the one sense, that is the bottom line. Everybody is asking that killers should be punished. There shouldn't be any compromise.
Well, let's hear now from a fellow blogger, Arif Rahman, who's actually currently in London. I asked him to tell us about Neil O'Neill's ideas.
Neil O'Neill was an atheist, left his religion. Although he was from a Hindu religion, he lives in Bangladesh. Like many atheists throughout the world, they don't think that religion has any importance these days in anybody's life. So he was actually joined to the atheist community in Bangladesh, which is a mix of both ex-Muslims and ex-Hindus and ex-any other religion.
Yes, and then he wrote about it, which probably is the reason he was killed.
That's one of the reasons, but this is something nobody's mentioning at this moment when there is media coverage. He was also an organizer of an organization called Science and Rationalist Association Bangladesh. What they used to do is obviously congregate and discuss about science and had speakers, but also one of the things they were doing back in 2013, 2012 is they would find out about religious miracle workers and they would expose miracles, because that was one of the things that those religious people were doing. I mean, the mullahs were doing, pretending to be, something not there.
Yeah, fake cures and this kind of thing, and charging people a lot of money for them.
Yes.
So there is this list in Bangladesh, which some of these jihadi guys put out, saying who they were going to kill. Was he on the list?
He was on the list, yes.
So it is extraordinary. I mean, unbelievable, really, that he didn't have police protection. But it seems that these people just walked into the house and killed him.
Well, police protection, that's a matter of laugh. The reason I'm laughing is because government's view on this is that these people are actually the troublemakers in their view. What the government has done is actually come up with law, multiple levels of law, criminalizing defamation of religion. And by saying anything an atheist can, there is a quote-unquote hurting of religious sentiment, which is actually mentioned throughout the laws.
But the truth is, it's not just Bangladesh, is it? Many governments around the world, including some advanced Western governments, are reluctant to confront jihadists if they think it's going to provoke more violence.
Oh, well, internationally, as far as I know, a lot of progressive Westernized countries are getting rid of those. So the trend is actually clearing out of those bad things, whereas countries that predominantly are of Muslim nature, as in follow the Islamic religion, not in their personal life, but also political life, led by Saudi Arabia and OIC, they're pushing for a criminalization of defamation of any religion. So we are seeing actually two different trends. The Islamic countries are getting more and more stricter. Western countries are actually getting rid of those archaic law.
If you went back to Bangladesh, would you be at risk?
Simple answer to your question is yes, I would be at risk. I have to be very careful where I go and who I tell that I'm going anywhere.
Right, but you may go back.
I'd definitely go back because I don't want terrorism to terrorize me to win.
Arif Rahman. And finally, for a government voice, Asad Uzzaman Khan, Bangladesh's Home Affairs Minister, who dismissed suggestions that Neil O'Neill had sought police protection and denied that the government was not doing enough.
It is not true that we have not been able to stop these killings. These extremists are making a lot of efforts to cause disasters. We have been able to arrest many of them, but they have been successful in one or two cases, such as this blogger. They managed to kill him by attacking him inside his home at the time of Friday prayers when no one was around. All our police and intelligence agencies are working on this, and we will capture them.
And that was, as I said, Asad Uzzaman Khan. And they bring us to an end of this edition of Newshour. So thanks very much for listening. And from Owen Bennett-Jones here in London, goodbye.